a lot of people will waylay the refining or reforming of their behaviors, of their actions, their words, their choices, until some mythical time when they think their brain, their mind, has figured it all out, or they believe that they're all healed, or they know everything now, then I'll change. And the principle that I shared with this individual, I said, why not just change now while you're figuring it out? Because it still comes down to obedience. It really, the undermining sabotage is still this primordial, don't tell me what to do. And we can justify it and make so many excuses for it. And the bottom line is there's still a place to obey. I often talk about God's role, our role. The Creator's role is to protect and serve. Our role is to serve and obey. So the obedience is endemic to the species. It's endemic to our co-creative relationship with Creator and created, among Creator and created. It's just who we are and what we need to do. And so many of the problems in life all can be traced back to. I mean, not that there aren't different layers. There are many, many layers. But at the core, almost every problem in life can be traced back to some form, some expression of disobedience. Don't tell me what to do. I won't, I won't, I won't. It's that large no. No, no, no. It's interesting. And as watching from birth, when a baby is born, it's interesting to watch what happens in the developing psyche of a child. It happens usually around the age of 2, plus or minus, or a little bit older for some, when they discover the power in that word. They drive their parents insane. There's a sense, they derive this sense of autonomy, this sense of power that they can override and just stand in this sense of sovereignty, even as a toddler. No. And this joy that comes with it. And that's where that disassociation, that disconnection starts to begin. It completes around the age of 7, is the average age when a child fully disconnects from that cord to the divine and is now living in what we understand as the exile of separation, the experience of separation. But it begins in earnest when the no comes in, which is around the age of 2. Within 5 years or so, plus or minus. Some kids hold on till 10. But usually it's around 7 when the severing occurs. And you see how the increasing development of the word no causes the final separation from the Creator. And then the rest of the life is basically a living expression of no to God in all its many colors and flavors, and all with a million excuses. I'm trying, and I'm looking at that, and I go to healers, but it all comes back to no, I won't. So I was explaining to this individual today, while you're going to your therapists and healers and kinesiologists and hypnotherapists and pendulums and plumb bobs and tarot readers and I Ching and all that stuff you do, which is great, just obey. If your boss tells you, take this cup and put it on the counter, go do it. Don't refuse to do it and say, oh, my mother, and you remind me of my mother, and when I was 3, and I'm working on that, and I'll try. Just move the freaking cup, you know? And I often will use the example of having a child. If a mother has to nurse a baby or change a diaper, and you have a cold, or you're upset, or you had a fight with your husband, or the baby reminds you of your mother, you still have to feed the baby, or it will actually die, and you'll be a murderer. You have to change the diaper, or you're abusing your child. It can't sit there in its own excrement. You don't say, well, I'm processing, so sleep in your own crap for the next 5 hours because I'm processing. Or you remind me of my mother. You change the diaper while it's reminding you of your mother. You pull out the breast and give it milk while you're upset and angry. You don't kill your child because you're angry at your husband. You feed your child. Now, fortunately, good mothers, because there are some mothers who do those horrible things, but good mothers will see the common sense in that, and it teaches you such a powerful lesson. I mean, that raising a child, is particularly breastfeeding, it's one of the ultimate lessons in selflessness, which is one of the highest divine character traits. Nothing teaches you selflessness by having a child. I mean, there's plenty of things that do, but to that degree, if you're raising it with love and kindness and serving it and holding it as the highest priority in your life, which it should be and needs to be. It's a sandblaster. It's the sandblaster to selflessness. And to lesser degrees, there are many, many other things, but that's the ultimate. So looking now in other areas of life, you can see the same thing. So, when you go to your job, I was sharing with the individual, when I had my job at the timeshare, I didn't like the job. I didn't like the phone sales. I didn't like the boss. I didn't like anything about it. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be anywhere but there. But A, I knew it's where I needed to be. B, I knew it was sandblasting my ego to smithereens. C, I knew that quitters never win and winners never quit. D, I knew that every circumstance will stay in your aura until it's finished serving you. So there will be a place of transcendence when and if God and my soul need me to leave. Otherwise, be content to serve there for the rest of your life. I just knew that. So I said, I'll stay in the ring. I didn't say, well, I'm processing, or you remind me of so-and-so, so I won't go to work. I showed up to work every single day, whether I had a stuffy nose, whether I was angry or sad or depressed, whether I was processing or projecting. I still went in and I picked up the phones and I did my very best and I worked through it. It's about obedience. Now, all those other things are true. They're factors, but they are far, far inferior to obedience. Serve and obey. So much mastery. I cannot, and I know I'm being very passionate about it, and there's a reason for it. I cannot overestimate enough the amount of mastery you will attain simply by obeying. And again, I'll state again, it is the last bastion to which the ego personality will succumb. It will take its own life before it will want to succumb and just plain obey. So do it. Back to your question, what is the best way to move forward? Obey. You'll be freed and you will find happiness. And yes, it will sometimes feel like you have one leg and the other leg tied to two trains traveling in opposite directions, and it'll feel like it's tearing you in half. And that's a very good thing. That shows you how powerful a grip your ego personality has on your consciousness. The greater they feel the pull, the stronger your ego personality is ruling your life rather than the deeply loving, peaceful soul that dwells in every one of us. And that should be welcomed. That's a good thing. Welcome the sandblaster.